All right, in this video, guys, we're going to be finishing our project, our low poly project. We're going to learn about how to fill in any blank spots left from your grid. We're going to be learning about how to change any colors, and we're also going to be learning how to make a simple but nice looking gradient background. Right now on the right side of my screen, you'll see my layers. You probably should only have 3 by this time. Your bottom one should be your photo, your middle one should be your grid, and your top should be your color. If there's any organization things you need to do, feel free to click and hold on a layer to move it around. The stock photo, I don't believe we'll need at this point anymore, so you could eyeball that one out, and I believe it'll probably be hidden for the rest of the project. The second one here is the grid. The grid, you have the option of just changing its color because the fill part that I'm about to show you is completely optional. Sometimes showing the grid, but in a more simple color than like the outlandish color we worked with the grid, is kind of cool. Click on the layer twice, like the physical like blue square over here on the right, and you'll see all the different layer options. The one that we're looking for is in the bottom middle called HSL adjustment. I believe that's hue, saturation, and lightness, I want to say. We'll find out in just a second. If you see this hue slider right here, that is the H. That literally just changes the color of your grid. So maybe it was green and you want it to be, I don't know, purple. You can go ahead and do that. Saturation is the intensity of color. So if the saturation is all the way down, it's kind of like a grayish purple, and then if it's all the way up, it's a very vibrant purple. This won't matter, and neither will the color. I highly recommend that you look at either a white or black grid, which is lightness. So turn the lightness all the way up if you'd like a white grid, or all the way down if you would like a black grid. Either can look cool depending on your background, so feel free to change this at the very end as well. When you're satisfied for now, though, hit done. Now we have our cool, colored grid. But if you have the time, this is what I would recommend. I'm not going to require this, and it will not be graded. This is filling your grid. Now, what I just did was I hid the grid layer by hitting the eyeball icon. I did not make a white grid. To fill in all these white spots that are left by the original grid line, you're going to make a new layer. So hit the plus sign on the layers, and you're going to see a layer below your color. This is where this should be. It should be above the grid, below the color, okay? And the strategy here, you don't have to be super precise with this, which is nice, is zoom in, find a triangle that you want, any one. I'm going to choose this center one. Grab its color. Taking the technical pen, you're going to want a bigger size than usual. Most of us did the grid anywhere between like 1.5 and 3. I recommend using like a pen of like, I don't know, 6, I would say, close-ish anyway. We'll go 5.4. And all you're going to do is roughly draw around the triangle. You don't need to be precise for 2 different reasons. One, the layer that we're drawing on is quite literally below the color layer. Like if you can see, I hit it beneath. So most of my lines still look really crisp. If I put it above it, it looks very messy. And then 2, we're super zoomed in right now. Let me do another one. I'm going to grab a different color and I'll show you what I mean. So no one is going to see the accuracy that we're performing right now. It literally will not matter. Right now we are like roughly 800% zoomed in. Generally speaking, the print will look at 33. This is kind of what the print will be, you know? It won't be this small. This looks really small on the screen, but that's relative to what the print will look like. So if you can't see missed detail at 33%, nobody else will on the print. This zoomed in like crazy detail is just for us. So again, how to fill. Select the color by clicking and holding until you get the crosshair. Let go. Technical pen with the size of around 5.5 to 6. Maybe even a little larger if you want. And then simply draw. Draw around the white space around the triangle with that said color. And voila, you're good to go. And you just rinse and repeat this for each individual triangle. This is probably the cleanest way to make a low poly project, but it's not going to be required. You can still show the grid if you want. If you start doing that and you don't like it and you want to leave it with a stylistic kind of grid, feel free. But again, there's how you would do it. All right, last but not least, let's say we're going to leave the grid where I have a black grid. Now, I only have an eye right here, so you'll have to forgive me. But in your final project, when you have all of it, actually, I could probably go to my final. I am going to save that, and we're going to hop on over to my final. I chose to go with a white grid rather than fill, which is, again, is fine. On here, let me hide the gradient so I can show you. I'll make a new layer. What you're going to want to do, in fact, I will delete this. That way you don't have it. So you have in here, I have my color, and then on top I have my grid, and below I have my stock photo. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer that goes below your color, below your grid, everything. Actually, my color should probably be above, or no, this one got messed up, so we're going to leave it right there. So right here, brand new layer, we're going to get a simple but effective gradient background. To do that, you're going to want the paint bucket tool, which is in the top, the one that we use to fill all the colors. But instead of this blue option all the way over here called solid fill at the far left, you can either choose linear fill or radial fill. Linear is like a left to right kind of ombre or gradient of colors, and radial fill is coming out from kind of like a center circle. You can play around with them. I'll show you what this one looks like first anyway. To use this, you just click and drag. Now, it will always give it to you in black, gray, and white at first. But after you click, drag, and let go, what you can do is you can click in each color, go up to here, pick any other color that you want. I'll say I'll go orange, and I'll click in the gray. I'll go up to the top right with my color thing. We'll go with like a green here, and then I'll go to my white, click that color, and let's go blue, just to show you some, this is an awful looking gradient, but you'll get the point. So once you have that, that is essentially it. I believe if you click off your layer, it will apply. Yep, there it did. Voila. Now, if I wanted to, I could go back in here and do linear fill. And again, oh, this is affecting just the one color. Okay, let's back out of that. Let me make a new layer so it doesn't get confusing. Click, drag, and then you will see instead of a circle, it is just a straight line. You can make it go in any direction. You can go up and down, you can go this way, you name it. The closer the colors are, the less of the blend that it is. So as you can see here, I have them really close together. Not really much of a blend. If they are further away though, you'll get a much smoother blend. All right, with that said, that is it.